Twitch, quote unquote, talent calls out ignorant VTubers. Instantly finds out. Yeah, this is about Mockpie and her weird clip. I think you're gonna see it. I think you're gonna see it. It is rather interesting what has been going on Twitch. Apparently, hips and other stuff is bad, but whatever this is not bad. Anyways, also please consider liking, subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Every little bit of support counts, so that's the best you can literally do. Yeah, we'll go in. Yeah, it is interesting. The e-thoughts once again added. And yeah, it's interesting.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So it's often said when it comes to the application of the platform's TOS that if Twitch didn't have double standards, they would have no standard.
Yeah. It's also like, yeah, they don't apply the TOS as at all. They don't it's just at this point you might as well just call it at this point it's like closest chatterbait that it's ever been. It's just rather interesting.
Standards at all. That's especially true when it comes to the application of TOS on VTubers versus real-life streamers, and there's also a great degree of favoritism when it comes to certain streamers on the platform, and all of this is the desired result of the platform's CEO,
Daddy Dan Clancy, the god Coomer of the website. Bro is watching 100 titty streamers at the same time across thousands of screens. It is crazy. That's all I can say. It's crazy. It's crazy. See, the entire problem I have with Twitch all the time is like that I've noticed is, does Amazon not care? Like, they're not financially successful. Does Amazon not care? Like, genuinely. Because, like, I feel like if Amazon was like, yeah, actually, shoo, fuck off. We're gonna get rid of this platform. They don't even have the money to back themselves up anymore. Is that just me?
Dan Clancy, who definitely has some, let's just say, preferences when it comes to the streamers he enjoys. In fact, not that long ago, while showing off his timeline and some new Twitch features, his entire For You page was nothing but e-girls on Twitch. And that's very
the god Coomer. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Dare I say, I'm not surprised. Right? I'm not surprised.
Interesting given the fact that he is a 60-something-year-old married man. Now, one of his favorite, let's just say, talents is an individual named Morgpie, and for a lack of a better way of describing her, she makes adult content on...
She's an e-thought, that's it. That's all there is to it. That's literally what she is. And there's no denial about it. She is that. Right? She is. She is.
On other platforms, and goes over to Twitch, pushes the limits of their TOS, often breaking it, getting a short ban, and in the process, she promotes these off-site platforms where she sells adult content. She is quickly unbanned, and she repeats the cycle over and over again. In fact, she has been banned at least a dozen times on Twitch.
Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. She's been banned 12 times. What is the limit of how often you can get banned on Twitch before they pull the plug? 12 times. 23 hours, 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, 1 month, 1 whole month, by the way. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 7 days, 1 day, 12 hours, 23 hours, 23 hours. 12 times. 12 whole times. Wow.
Twitch since 2023, and all of them for sexual content. And it's often said that the majority of the current rules...
Yeah, you see that, actually. You see that. She's streaming with her girls hanging out. That's all.
Involving sexual content are the result of Morgpie's streams, where she finds a certain rule and she pushes it to the limit, where it either has to be tweaked or a new rule has to be added altogether to address the very hardcore content she is posting on this, by the way, 13 plus platform. Now, recently she found herself into some controversy given this stunt she did, and now that she's facing a lot of criticism and people are bringing up the double standards on Twitch when it comes to TOS.
Interesting. That isn't shown here. That's rather interesting that it's not in my chat. Okay. Powder's post of the busty model on Twitter getting her unbanned is a canon event. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, wait. I think I've seen that, actually. What the fuck? There's nothing even crazy in there that YouTube would just nuke this. That's pretty interesting. Huh. Well, YouTube is rather dickish, do I say? With their censorship in chat. Yeah, I think YouTube censorship in chat is also a problem that needs to be addressed. When I say no filters, bitch, by the way. When I say no filters, I quite literally mean no filters. That'd be pretty cool. And not like, when I say no moderation, I'd like no moderation in my chat. Auto moderation. Thank you. But apparently YouTube doesn't do that.
She is crashing out on VTubers, claiming they cannot read. And it all stems from this clip. This has gone viral, as you can see, nearly 17 million views. And I'm not even going to play this, I'm just going to describe it because who knows with YouTube. But basically, she's sitting in her chair here, and this guy, her pets, comes from out underneath her desk wearing a gimp suit, and she has a little shock collar. Obviously, this is some Hassan-related bits, and it's all just a fetish for her. Okay, she is just flaunting fetish content on Twitch, which I guess this is the platform they want to be these days. And to answer your questions, well, is she...
Oh, femdom. I'm not shocked, am I? I'm not shocked. Why would I? Well, Kaya is, but like, I'm not shocked. Yeah, that's rather interesting. I don't know how they get to this. I don't understand why she would do this. I mean, I do understand, right? Money. It's just like, why does she not get banned, right? That's a ban. That should be a bannable offense. Maybe again, I'm just retarded, but I think that should be a bannable offense.
Better than Hassan when it comes to the treatment of her pets? Well, not so fast. She actually does another bit where she pretends to shock her pets, so I guess they're the same. And just look at the accounts promoting this content, like, absolutely shameless. This is someone's son, by the way, for shame. And I think we should shame everyone in this situation. The people who are creating content like Morgpie.
The people glazing it, the people more by creating it, and the dude allowing himself to this like to be degraded like this. All of them. Yeah, I'm on the same side as Powder, by the way, which is, yeah, we should shame these people. I don't give a shit. We should shame these people. OF girls, corn stars, promoters, participants, whatever. Shame them all.
On Twitch, and also the people who are consuming this absolute slop. But anyways, you can see people pointing out double standards on different levels, not just with VTubers, but with streamers in general. But this user says, change the genders of the two characters in the video, and watch the one sitting on the couch become the target of the aggravated life imprisonment and societal lynching. No other platform is as two-faced as Twitch, and that is definitely true, by the way. If the roles were reversed in terms of gender here, the guy in the chair doing these commands would be a pariah socially and would be banned off the platform instantaneously. Unless he's Hassan, of course, then maybe he would get away with it. But there's some good points being raised here. A lot of people are asking, why doesn't the Twitch CEO do something about this? And this user says, who do you think is in the suit?
Dan Clancy. The DD. Anyways, it's crazy. It's just so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous.
Like, all jokes aside, this is exactly what Dan Clancy wants on his platform. He has made it very clear this is the stuff that he tolerates in some cases. Because if you're a VTuber and you're trying to do this stuff, you'll probably get banned very quickly. But with Morgpie, she gets away with it because, well, she is who she is. And even if she does get banned, we know it'll be a very short ban. Here's another quote saying, I really miss when Twitch was actually used to stream video games and building communities.
Yeah, video games. Anybody remember that time? They know me so much. I'm a proud misogynist crazy work. Well, these one in particular is definitely. These ones in particular, especially, right? I'm against the sexualization in general, right? I don't care much about fictional content. That much I don't give a shit about, right? No actual, like, I don't care much about that, realistically. Go give a shit. But, like, we should definitely shame these women if they do it IRL. 100%. Including the men, actually. Fuck it. Throw the men in as well. If you're a male corn actor, you get the same boot. I don't care. I'll shove my boot so far up your ass you can actually taste it. Anyways.
Of gamers and not just softcore adult content. Yeah, I miss those days too. And you know what? People like Morgpie, they do not care. She is mocking the situation, quoting the related clip, saying just a girl and her lil pets. And then you can see her reposting people talking about some of the fetish content she is posting onto Twitch. I mean, that's not even the only thing.
Why would she repost Volo? Which used to be about gaming, yeah. Why is she reposting Volo, though? That's criticism. It doesn't make sense. That's criticism.
She's done this week that has pushed the TOS beyond its limits, if we're being honest, and she's flaunting the fact that people are disgusted and outraged by her content. And then we have people asking this, hey, at Twitch, can I have an anime girl on a leash, or would that get me banned because VTubers are treated differently?
No. So here's the thing. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, okay? So apparently a VTuber's emote was rejected because it was too sexual. And it was apparently called Good Girl, and it was just the VTuber girl on the leash, right? But you didn't really see much, right? I was literally just her face and then a leash, right? That emote was rejected. But that stream had no consequences to Morgpie. It's very interesting. Hey, Poke, are you also having fatigue to fatiguers? Huh? I definitely I have woman fatigue. But it's more so e-girls. I have e-girl fatigue. Currently.
So there's going to be a lot of talk about VTubers when it comes to this clip because people are making the comparison. And to address this question very, very clearly, we have an example. This VTuber...
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, that emote was rejected. That emote was rejected. But the stream was not taken down.
Right here showed off that they had emotes. She had an emote on her stream that featured the same dynamic of the sort of pets dynamic that was seen in the Morgpie clip. And this was shot down, okay? She was not allowed to have this because it was promoting fetish content, which is exactly what Morgpie is doing. They won't allow it for a VTuber's emote, but they'll allow a cam streamer to do it openly with real people. Make it make sense. But here's another quote saying, oh, so this is fine, but God forbid a VTuber shows a little bit of hip bone. And here's a related quote saying, it's low-key weird how Twitch has different rules for VTubers versus flesh tubers. Like, how is this allowed, but we're not allowed to show our models' hips? And that is definitely true in the first part. There is more strict rules for VTubers. I mean, that is very clear if you read the TOS. There are additional rules for VTuber models as opposed to someone streaming their real life self, which is very odd to think about. The fictional VTuber model has more rules, especially when it comes to attire, than someone presenting their real self on camera. That doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. If they were even in terms of their strict
If it were consistent, nobody would have a problem, but it isn't consistent. So there's a problem. There's also a problem, however, on the VTuber side where people will actively ban farm. Yep, ban farm. Fifi's one of those that I would consider that she is ban farming, which means that she uses a very provocative attire on her VTuber model, and then complains that she apparently doesn't follow the rules, right? Because she doesn't follow the rules, and then gets banned for it, and then weaponizes her community to go off Twitch. Do I think it's inconsistent? Yes. Do I think that you actually have to farm bans by getting banned and farming that because for some odd reason, right? They wouldn't ban such a big creator. It doesn't make sense. But like, I have questions, right? I have questions. I'm like in the middle. At the same time, it's double standards. On the other hand, there's a lot of people that abuse these double standards as well.
strictness, okay, I understand, but to make VTubers the ones subject to stricter rules is weird. And yes, this is a point that a lot of people have raised. If you show the hips of your VTuber model, you could be banned, and that is right in their TOS. And that's unfortunately happened to a lot of VTubers, but there's also some exceptions too. Like recently we talked about Fifi, the VTuber, getting banned for showing off her hips, among other things. But that case was honestly very similar to Morgpie. I compared her to streamers like Morgpie because she's a habitual rule breaker, but a VTuber. Like, she's been banned about 10 times as well for constantly pushing the limits of the TOS. She just happens to have a VTuber model, so she acts like, oh, well, we're just showing off our hips. Well, you've been doing way beyond that. But in general, yes, there is very clear unfair.
Obviously, that's the problem. If it weren't unfair, there wouldn't be any issues. Can't stand Fifi. Frankly, a lot of the large VTubers are AIDS. Yep, I agree. To be I know people hate it when I say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. A lot of these VTubers are just e-girls with VTuber models. They're literally the same. Their VTuber model is literally just a funnel into their OnlyFans or Fansly. That's all. A lot of these people are literally just the exact same thing. That's all there is to it. They're the exact same thing. It's hilarious. And I know a lot of people don't like this when I say it, but it's true. They're just e-girls. They are literally just e-girls. Crocorock. Yeah, I've added it. Don't worry. I've added it. Oh, I was behind, so it would seem. You were behind, it seems. A classic for the cricket.
Treatment when it comes to VTubers. They get a lot stricter treatment from the TOS than real life cam streamers. But there are, of course, exceptions in the VTubing scene as well, where you have habitual rule breakers pushing the limits, just like Morgpie. Here's another person saying, I love Schmink and enjoying these sorts of spaces, but it just seems really disingenuous and strange what's straight up fetish streamers on what's supposed to be a 13 plus website, but then also ban VTuber models who show their hips, or people who mention dual streaming, which, yeah, that last part is, or was very true for at least a while, but that's a very good point that I like to hammer home anytime I get. Why are you so obsessed with bringing this sort of content onto a 13 plus website? But Rev, they have the adult content warning on their streams. I don't care. It's still Twitch. Like, is this really what they want their identity to be? And also, do you feel comfortable as the
So, I have a question. Since this is 13 plus, right? Should YouTube allow this kind of content and potentially push it to 13-year-olds No, that's rather interesting. Huh. Yo, Poke. Hi, GT. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just got home. Okay, okay. Not bad. Not bad. I was still at the where the Gen Z losing hope at owning house. Ah, you were still. You are quite in the past. The cricket from the past. Very interesting.
Streamer providing this sort of content on a platform like Twitch that is 13 plus, it's ridiculous. Like, just do it on the platforms that are meant for that sort of content, not here. It's so ridiculous how Twitch has prioritized
Yeah, but these platforms don't have the reach. That's the thing. That's the. I can't funnel people to my OF from there, right? Nobody's gonna hop on Fansly. No, there's no new people to reach, so I must you do it from there. I must do it from Twitch. I must do it from YouTube. I remember when the era was where PokeTuber were straight up, where there were OnlyFans girls doing Pokemon content. Yes, you heard that right. Women making Pokemon content, having an OF, and funneling the subscribers to the OF. But there were also minors in that a good amount of minors in that audience. Very interesting.
this sort of stuff. But I guess the comparisons to VTubers and the complaints from VTubers got under the skin of Mordpie, who directly called out the VTubing scene for always inserting themselves into Twitch controversies. Listen to the hypocrisy she is spewing.
Anytime anybody does something controversial on Twitch, the VTubers all come out. They're like, but we can't do whatever we want all the time. Okay, but you can't have exposed hips. Yeah, because it explicitly says that in the TOS that you just read the TOS! You know what I do when I wanna do.
She's having less makeup on. She kind of looks ugly, not gonna lie here. And why is her face this long? I have questions, not that I care much. I'm gonna protect you from this eyesore. Well, she's twice there. I can't do much, but like I can protect you from the speaking eyesore. Anyways, okay, if you ever pulled an EJ Sanji, Demi Mean Girl, or Fifi Woes Me BS on anyone or fighting in game, well, first of all, I don't really interact with many people. Second of all, I have something that these people lack. It's called accountability. Oh, she having her own Kaya, I see. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does, it seems. Okay, is she a horse? Might be. Ew, that's quite an ugly Uma. Mayano top whore. Anyways, because of the long face. Focus. If I would rather die than have this woman as my girlfriend. That's not my girlfriend. That's our girlfriend at this point.
Something on stream. I just read the TOS. I just read the TOS. It explicitly says it in the TOS that you can't show your hips on stream. That's been a thing for like 2 years. Dude, that shit changed like 2 years ago. That's 2024, man.
So I want to start by saying thank you again, Shoe on Head, for
Again, thank you, Shoe on Head, for the new meme format. I use it. Unsolicited opinions from online prostitutes. That's how it should be.
providing this very relevant meme in her latest video. But yeah, Mordpie mocking VTubers and basically saying that they're pining for attention and trying to make things all about themselves is incredibly ironic for the person who thrives off of attention. I mean, that is her entire bit, right? Garnering as much outrage and attention as possible to promote her adult content. And then to say that VTubers don't know how to read TOS is painfully ironic, coming from the person who's been banned at least a dozen times for not being able to read the TOS. Or does she read the TOS? Because at the end of the day, she's been banned this many times. She knows exactly.
Well, she does read the TOS. She has to read the TOS, right? Because she needs to find loopholes. or generally just holds in the TOS that she can abuse. Remember when creative nudity was a thing and people are just straight up butt naked? Crazy. But she has a personality. If that's my personality, please put me down.
Exactly what she's doing. Every single stream she does is pushing the limits. And a lot of times she has a specific rule in mind where it mentions one body part, for example, but doesn't mention another. Guess what she focuses her content on in that stream? The body part not mentioned. She tries to get around the rules and basically forces Twitch to act and extend their rules or make a new rule. She knows exactly what she's doing, but she's already kind of playing some damage control here, coming out with this quote of the last clip saying, "I just wanted to say that I love VTubers. I think they are real pioneers."
Those are both lies. Those are both lies.
Years of streaming. I just don't see this parallel between attire policy and someone wearing a full GIMP suit as a joke. What? I talk out of my behind on stream all the time, but it's all in fun with no malice whatsoever. If you watch this full segment, that segment is clear as I break up every other sentence with praise for the VTuber community. So you praise them, meanwhile you're bashing them.
Okay, so first of all, that's a lie. The second one is a lie. The third one, section, is hypocrisy. And the last thing I want to mention, there's no VTuber community. I still find it funny how people push this idea that there's a VTuber community. There's no VTuber community. There's just multiple separate spaces. It's a space or a medium, and there's separate communities in that space. That's all. Moving on.
And saying they make things all about themselves and that they don't read TOS. Meanwhile, you are, number one, the reason most of those rules exist in the first place, and number two, you clearly can't read yourself because you've been banned a dozen plus times. I think this is just a spin at damage control and trying not to anger a portion of her audience that for some reason enjoys this content. Like, yeah, to each their own, right? Like, people enjoy whatever they want. No matter who you enjoy as a content creator, myself included, there will be people out there who will look at that and say, how do you possibly enjoy that content? But with this, I mean, she's like literally mocking VTubers. Like, as a VTuber fan, like, this is pretty cringe to watch. Not only that, like, you're really going to Twitch for this sort of content. Like, I don't know, man. It's just pretty sad state of affairs. But anyways, as I said, if Twitch didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. And I just don't know why people like Morgpie are so insistent upon bringing this sort of content onto a 13 plus platform. It's totally ridiculous. It's obnoxious. And the fact that Twitch has made it basically,
well, the fastest way to get young men into paying customers is to indoctrinate and corrupt them when they're still young, when they're teens. That's the easiest way. Didn't then Clancy say at one point he wanted to get younger and younger audiences? I find that very funny. He's the pioneer of German streamers. I don't know about that one. Maybe in the future, who knows?
their identity to protect this content is a reflection of them and what they think is important. And when they continue to crash and burn, I just don't feel sorry for them. This used to be about gaming and building gaming-related communities. Now it's just a softcore site. That's all it is. That's the main focus for the CEO. Until he's gone and removed from that position and someone replaces him, this stuff is going to continue. But that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subbing and turning on notifications, and feel free to check out my streams here on YouTube as well. Would love to see you guys there. But that's going to do it for this video.
Yeah, unless Jeff Bezos removes this man, we have a slight problem, which is that, yeah, this won't stop that easily. In fact, I don't see it stopping at all. If anything, it'll likely get worse. It always gets worse. That's just the nature of it. It just gets worse. Eventually, my man is actually going to just straight up allow corn at this point, right? We had a birth already. Now this. Hilarious stuff.